Picture this: a small, unassuming object, buried for millennia, is unearthed from the sands of time, only to reveal secrets that shatter everything we thought we knew about the ancient world. From intricate gears that rival modern computers to alloys that defy corrosion, the past wasn't just primitive, it was astonishingly advanced. Join us as we uncover 30 ancient artifacts that prove our ancestors were far more ingenious than history books dare to admit. These relics, from the aerodynamic Saqqara Bird to the cosmic calculations of the Antikythera Mechanism, will leave you questioning just how advanced was the ancient world. Let's dive into the mysteries and marvels that rewrite our understanding of human ingenuity. Number 30. The Saqqara Bird. The Saqqara Bird is one of the most mysterious and hotly debated artifacts to emerge from ancient Egypt. Discovered in 1898 during excavations at the Pompeii tomb in the ancient necropolis of Saqqara, the small object, carved from sycamore wood and measuring just over 7 inches in length, has puzzled historians, archaeologists, and engineers alike for decades. Dated to approximately 200 BCE, the artifact resembles a bird, but its aerodynamic form has drawn comparisons not to a living creature, but to a modern glider or aircraft. With its straight, fixed wings, lack of clear tail feathers, and upright rudder-like tail, the Saqqara Bird does not conform neatly to the appearance of any known species of bird, ancient or modern. Instead, it seems to embody a fusion of biological inspiration and mechanical design. The intrigue surrounding the Saqqara Bird intensified in the late 20th century when aeronautical experts began to examine its shape and proportions. Some researchers, particularly those outside of mainstream Egyptology, argued that the object was more than a ceremonial or decorative piece. They suggested that it might have served as a model for an ancient flying machine, or at the very least, represented a conceptual understanding of flight far ahead of its time. Its wings are curved in a manner similar to modern airplane wings, creating lift when air passes over them. In controlled tests using scaled-up replicas, some aerodynamic engineers were able to demonstrate that the basic design could, under the right conditions, glide for a short distance. This has led to theories that ancient Egyptians may have understood more about the principles of flight than we give them credit for. Some go so far as to propose that the Saqqara Bird was a prototype or symbolic representation of an aircraft, perhaps part of a lost tradition of ancient engineering that has since vanished from the historical record. Others suggest a more conservative, but still remarkable interpretation, that the object was a sophisticated weather vane, a ceremonial object, or a child's toy built with intuitive aerodynamic properties. There are even fringe theorists who link it to ancient alien hypotheses, claiming it as evidence of otherworldly influence on ancient Egyptian technology. Yet mainstream scholars tend to approach the artifact more cautiously. Many Egyptologists interpret the Saqqara Bird as a simple ceremonial object or offering, possibly representing the bar, the spiritual manifestation of the soul in Egyptian mythology, often depicted as a bird. Some believe it may have been placed in the tomb to assist the deceased in their journey through the afterlife. They argue that the lack of inscriptions or accompanying context makes it difficult to assert its purpose with certainty, and they caution against drawing far-reaching conclusions based solely on its shape. Nevertheless, even within academic circles, there is acknowledgement that the artifact's aerodynamic properties are curious. While it's possible that the resemblance to a glider is coincidental, it remains striking that an object over 2,000 years old could exhibit design elements consistent with the basic principles of flight, centuries before the first human took to the skies. Whether the Saqqara Bird was an accidental marvel of intuitive design, a religious icon with symbolic significance, or a remnant of forgotten technological experimentation, it continues to provoke questions that challenge our assumptions about the capabilities of ancient civilizations. Its presence in a tomb at Saqqara, an ancient burial ground for the elite, hints at the object's cultural or spiritual importance. But its aerodynamic form suggests a sophistication that transcends mere symbolism. The mystery of the Saqqara Bird lies in this paradox. It exists at the intersection of mythology and mechanics, of religion and engineering, of ancient tradition and modern curiosity. And it is precisely this blend of ambiguity and intrigue that earns it a place on the list of artifacts that compel us to reconsider just how advanced the ancient world may have been. Number 29. The Sword of Goujian. In 1965, during an archaeological excavation of ancient tombs in Hubei Province, China, researchers unearthed one of the most astonishing weapons from antiquity, the Sword of Goujian. Estimated to be over 2,500 years old, this bronze sword was found in the tomb of a nobleman near the city of Jingzhou. What baffled the excavation team was not just its age, but its extraordinary state of preservation. Despite being buried in a moist environment for centuries, the sword showed no signs of tarnish or corrosion. Its blade was still razor-sharp, and its intricate designs remained crisp and untouched by time. This artifact has since become a symbol of the advanced craftsmanship and metallurgical skill of ancient China during the spring and autumn period. The sword is attributed to King Goujian of Yu, a famous ruler known for his resilience and cunning during a turbulent time in Chinese history. Measuring 55.6 centimeters in length and weighing about 875 grams, the sword is made primarily of bronze, but incorporates other metals like tin and small amounts of iron and lead. What makes the Sword of Goujian especially impressive is its intricate construction. It features a high tin content edge that maintains sharpness, while the core of the sword has lower tin content to provide flexibility and reduce brittleness. This sophisticated alloy composition demonstrates a deep understanding of materials science, centuries before such knowledge was formalized in the modern world. The surface of the sword is decorated with delicate rhomboid patterns etched with high precision. Its hilt is wrapped in silk and ends with a pommel inlaid with turquoise or crystal. Near the base of the blade, an inscription in ancient Chinese script reads, "King of Yu Goujian made this sword for personal use." The clarity of the inscription, after millennia underground, has stunned linguists and historians. It has also helped establish the identity of the sword and situate it firmly within a well-documented historical era. What truly makes the Sword of Goujian stand out is its resistance to corrosion. Analysis has revealed that the blade was cast with a highly stable oxidized layer, which helped protect it from the usual effects of aging and moisture. This suggests that ancient Chinese metallurgists possessed not only advanced smelting and casting techniques, but also an awareness of preservation methods that defy conventional expectations of Bronze Age capabilities. Modern reproductions and scientific analyses have tried to recreate the method used to forge such a durable and sharp blade, but no effort has fully replicated the original. The sword has become an enduring mystery, not just because of its elegance and strength, but because it hints at a level of technological sophistication that was thought impossible for its time. The Sword of Goujian challenges our assumptions about the limitations of ancient metallurgy, serving as a reminder that the ancient world was often far more advanced than we have been led to believe. Number 28. The Edwin Smith Papyrus. The Edwin Smith Papyrus is one of the most remarkable medical documents from the ancient world, offering a window into the advanced surgical knowledge possessed by the ancient Egyptians. Believed to date from around 1600 BCE, though likely copied from even older texts that may have originated as early as 3000 BCE, this papyrus is the oldest known surgical treatise. It was acquired in the 19th century by American collector Edwin Smith, after whom it is now named. Written in hieratic script, the papyrus is thought to have been the work of an ancient Egyptian physician, possibly Imhotep, who was later deified as a god of medicine and wisdom. What makes the Edwin Smith Papyrus so extraordinary is its clinical, almost scientific approach to trauma and treatment. Unlike other medical papyri that often mixed spells and supernatural remedies, this text takes a rational, observational stance. It contains 48 case studies dealing with injuries primarily to the head, neck, spine, and chest. Each case follows a consistent structure: the title of the injury, the examination of the patient, the diagnosis, the prognosis, and the recommended treatment. This format reflects a methodical and systematic approach that mirrors modern clinical practices. The papyrus reveals a surprisingly detailed understanding of human anatomy. Descriptions include observations of the brain, cerebrospinal fluid, and the cranial sutures, features rarely documented in other ancient texts. One case even refers to the brain as the marrow of the skull and describes its pulsations, possibly indicating an awareness of the circulatory system. It also outlines procedures such as wound suturing, bandaging, and using honey as an antiseptic, which modern science confirms as effective due to honey's antimicrobial properties. Even more astonishing is the clear differentiation between injuries that could be treated and those that were untreatable. Some entries conclude with the phrase, "an ailment not to be treated," showing a realistic assessment of the limits of ancient medicine. This level of pragmatism is rarely seen in other ancient documents, which often leaned heavily on divine or magical intervention. The Edwin Smith Papyrus is a powerful testament to the intellectual sophistication of ancient Egyptian physicians. It challenges the notion that early medicine was purely mystical and shows that empirical observation and logical reasoning were already being used over 3,500 years ago. It remains a cornerstone of medical history and a symbol of just how advanced the ancient world could be. Number 27. The Indus Valley Precision Ruler. The Indus Valley Precision Ruler stands as a remarkable testament to the scientific and mathematical advancement of one of the world's earliest urban civilizations. Dating back to around 2400 BCE, this artifact was discovered in the ancient city of Lothal, a prominent port town of the Indus Valley civilization located in present-day Gujarat, India. Made from a black stone called fossilized shell or ivory, the ruler displays an astonishing degree of precision that rivals modern measuring tools, suggesting that the inhabitants of the Indus Valley possessed a sophisticated understanding of geometry, engineering, and standardization. What sets the Indus Valley ruler apart is its level of accuracy. The smallest division on the ruler measures approximately 1.32 millimeters, a unit incredibly close to the modern-day inch divided into 16 parts. This suggests that the civilization had not only developed a standardized system of measurement, but had also implemented it consistently across their cities. Archaeological evidence supports this claim, as brick dimensions found in various Indus Valley sites follow proportional ratios that match the units inscribed on these rulers. Such standardization points to an organized and centralized authority capable of enforcing uniform construction practices over vast distances. The precision of the ruler is especially impressive when considering the tools available at the time. There is no evidence that metal tools were used to make these fine divisions. Instead, ancient craftsmen likely relied on stone cutting and polishing techniques honed over generations. This speaks volumes about the artisan's skills and the value placed on mathematical accuracy in daily life, whether in urban planning, trade, or architecture. Moreover, the presence of such an accurate measuring device indicates a complex economy that likely included detailed record-keeping, surveying, and commerce. It implies that the civilization valued quantification, perhaps for taxation, land management, or crafting intricate goods. The ruler may also have been used in constructing the Indus Valley's famously well-planned cities, which featured grid layouts, advanced drainage systems, and standardized brick sizes. The Indus Valley Precision Ruler forces us to reconsider assumptions about early technological capabilities. Long before similar tools appeared in other ancient cultures, the people of the Indus Valley had already mastered the art of precise measurement. Their accomplishments in metrology reveal a civilization deeply invested in accuracy, order, and scientific thought, demonstrating that even in deep antiquity, human ingenuity was reaching extraordinary levels. Number 26. Archimedes Screw. The Archimedes screw is a groundbreaking invention attributed to the ancient Greek mathematician and engineer Archimedes of Syracuse, who lived in the 3rd century BCE. This device was designed to move water from lower elevations to higher ones, and is considered one of the earliest and most effective tools for hydraulic engineering. The basic structure consists of a helical surface wound around a central cylindrical shaft, encased in a hollow pipe. When the screw is rotated, either by hand or with the help of animals, water is trapped in the pockets between the threads and gradually lifted upward as the device turns. Though commonly associated with Archimedes, there is evidence suggesting that the technology may have existed earlier in Mesopotamia or Egypt, where similar devices were possibly used for irrigation. However, Archimedes is credited with refining and documenting its mechanics, allowing the screw to gain wider use and recognition across the ancient world. It was especially useful in agriculture for raising water from rivers to irrigate fields, and in shipbuilding, where it helped remove bilge water from the hulls of large vessels. The efficiency and simplicity of the Archimedes screw are what make it so remarkable. It operates without the need for complex gearing or power sources, and can still function even if built from basic materials like wood and bronze. Modern versions of the device are still in use today, particularly in wastewater treatment and hydropower generation, showing the enduring brilliance of the original design. This ancient invention demonstrates a deep understanding of mechanical principles and practical problem-solving. The fact that it has remained virtually unchanged for over 2 millennia highlights the advanced technological thinking of ancient engineers and firmly establishes the Archimedes screw as one of history's most influential mechanical innovations. Number 25. Pompeii's ancient surgical tools. The discovery of ancient surgical tools in the Roman city of Pompeii has offered an extraordinary glimpse into the medical practices of the early Roman Empire. When Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 CE, the volcanic ash that buried the city also preserved an unprecedented array of artifacts, including a full set of surgical instruments found in the house of a physician believed to be a practicing surgeon. These tools, dating back nearly 2,000 years, reveal a level of medical sophistication that rivals techniques not commonly seen again until the Renaissance. The surgical kit contained over 40 distinct instruments made primarily of bronze and iron. Among them were scalpels with replaceable blades, forceps, speculums, bone levers, and catheters. Some tools were clearly designed for specific operations such as bloodletting, bone setting, or removing bladder stones. The variety and specialization of these instruments suggests that Roman doctors had a deep understanding of anatomy and pathology, as well as the technical skill to perform complex procedures. Many of the tools found in Pompeii bear striking resemblance to those used in modern surgery, highlighting how advanced Roman medicine truly was. For example, the speculum, a tool still used in gynecology today, shows that Roman physicians had developed methods for internal examination. Similarly, the use of clamps and cauterizing instruments points to a practical understanding of bleeding control and wound treatment. These surgical instruments also tell us about the Roman healthcare system. Physicians were often trained in Greek medical philosophy, particularly the teachings of Hippocrates and Galen, and practiced a mixture of empirical observation and hands-on treatment. The presence of such a comprehensive toolkit in a private home implies that medical care in Pompeii was accessible and practiced outside formal institutions, much like today's general practitioners. The surgical tools of Pompeii serve as concrete evidence that ancient Roman medicine was far more developed than previously assumed. They reflect not only the technical capabilities of Roman doctors, but also the value placed on medical knowledge and patient care in one of antiquity's most advanced civilizations. Number 24. The Salamis tablet. The Salamis tablet is one of the oldest known counting boards in existence, offering a rare and insightful look into the mathematical sophistication of the ancient Greeks. Discovered on the island of Salamis in 1846, the tablet is made of marble and dates back to around 300 BCE, though some scholars believe it may have been based on even earlier Babylonian counting systems. Measuring approximately 150 centimeters long and 75 centimeters wide, the Salamis tablet features a series of carved lines, symbols, and Greek letters that strongly suggest it was used as an early calculating device, essentially an ancestor of the modern abacus. The layout of the tablet includes 5 parallel lines divided by a central vertical line, with semicircular markings and additional symbols on either side. These were likely used to represent different units of measurement or numerical values, allowing users to perform arithmetic calculations by placing pebbles or calculi at various intersections. Such a system would have been ideal for performing addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, especially in administrative, commercial, or engineering contexts. What makes the Salamis tablet especially important is how it reveals the Greeks' practical approach to mathematics. While ancient Greek scholars like Euclid and Archimedes are well known for their contributions to theoretical geometry, this tablet shows that hands-on calculation and applied mathematics were equally essential in daily life. The device likely helped merchants, tax collectors, architects, and military planners perform precise calculations long before the invention of written numerals or calculators. The tablet structure also suggests a hybrid of Greek and earlier Mesopotamian numerical systems. The Greeks adopted and adapted many mathematical principles from neighboring civilizations, and the Salamis tablet embodies this intellectual exchange. It serves as a critical bridge between ancient counting methods and more abstract mathematical thinking. Today, the Salamis tablet resides in the Epigraphical Museum in Athens and continues to fascinate scholars and historians. It not only illustrates the ingenuity of ancient Greek mathematics, but also challenges modern assumptions about the limitations of pre-modern computation. As a tangible representation of cognitive and mathematical advancement, the Salamis tablet stands as a testament to the ancient world's deep understanding of numbers and logic. Number 23. The Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone is one of the most important archaeological discoveries in human history, serving as the key that unlocked the language of ancient Egypt. Discovered in 1799 by French soldiers near the town of Rosetta, modern-day Rashid in the Nile Delta, the stone is a granodiorite slab inscribed with a decree issued in 196 BCE during the reign of King Ptolemy V. What makes the Rosetta Stone extraordinary is that the decree is written in three scripts: Greek, Demotic, and Egyptian hieroglyphs. Because scholars could still read ancient Greek at the time of the stone's discovery, it became the crucial tool for deciphering the long-lost system of hieroglyphic writing. The stone itself measures about 114 centimeters tall, 72 centimeters wide, and 28 centimeters thick, and it weighs approximately 760 kilograms. Its inscriptions represent the same text repeated in three languages, intended to ensure that the decree could be understood by all literate members of Egyptian society, such as priests, government officials, and the educated Greek-speaking elite. While the Greek portion was readable, the hieroglyphs and demotic scripts had become unintelligible over the centuries, creating a puzzle that captivated scholars across Europe. The breakthrough came through the work of French linguist Jean-François Champollion in the 1820s. By carefully comparing the Greek and Egyptian texts and identifying recurring names like Ptolemy and Cleopatra, Champollion was able to match symbols to phonetic sounds. This led to the revolutionary realization that hieroglyphs were not just symbolic, but also phonetic, capable of representing sounds in a structured language. The Rosetta Stone not only provided the key to understanding ancient Egyptian texts, but also opened a gateway to reconstructing thousands of years of Egypt's history, religion, literature, and science. Before its decipherment, much of ancient Egyptian culture remained a mystery. With it, the voices of the pharaohs and priests could finally be heard again. Now housed in the British Museum, the Rosetta Stone continues to be a powerful symbol of linguistic discovery and scholarly perseverance. Its significance extends far beyond Egyptology, representing the idea that knowledge, once lost, can be recovered through careful observation, logic, and collaboration across cultures. Number 22. The Hydraulis. The Hydraulis is considered the earliest known keyboard instrument and a direct ancestor of the modern pipe organ. Invented in the 3rd century BCE by the Greek engineer Ctesibius of Alexandria, the Hydraulis used water pressure to regulate the flow of air through pipes, producing sound. This remarkable invention showcases the advanced understanding of hydraulics and pneumatics in the ancient world and reflects the innovative spirit of Hellenistic engineering. The instrument operated using a system of pumps and a water reservoir. Air was pumped into a sealed chamber partially filled with water, which maintained a consistent air pressure. This pressurized air was then directed through a series of pipes of varying lengths and diameters. When the musician pressed keys or sliders, the corresponding valves opened, allowing air to flow through specific pipes and produce musical notes. The consistency of the airflow allowed for a clear and sustained sound, a major advancement over earlier wind instruments. Archaeological remains of hydraulis instruments have been found in regions across the Roman Empire, including a well-preserved example from the 1st century CE, discovered in Dion, Greece. Literary sources also mention its use in public performances, sporting events, and imperial ceremonies, indicating that the hydraulis was not just a technical marvel, but also a prominent cultural artifact. It was admired for its power and clarity of sound, capable of filling large venues with music. The hydraulis exemplifies how ancient engineers combined mechanical ingenuity with artistic expression. Its design required precise calculations of air pressure, valve mechanics, and acoustics, demonstrating that the ancients possessed more than just practical skills. They had theoretical understanding as well. As a precursor to modern keyboard instruments, the hydraulis marks a significant milestone in both musical history and ancient technology. Number 21. The Iron Pillar of Delhi. The Iron Pillar of Delhi is one of the most extraordinary metallurgical achievements of the ancient world. Standing over 7 meters tall and weighing more than 6 tons, this pillar is located in the Cup complex in Delhi, India. What makes it remarkable is not just its size or age, believed to be over 1,600 years old, dating to the Gupta period around the 4th century CE, but its incredible resistance to corrosion. Despite being exposed to harsh weather conditions for over a millennium, the iron has not significantly rusted, a phenomenon that continues to puzzle scientists and historians alike. The pillar is believed to have been originally erected in honor of the Hindu god Vishnu by King Chandragupta II, or a related Gupta monarch. An inscription in Sanskrit written in the Brahmi script praises the king's military achievements and devotion to Vishnu. The pillar's original location is still debated, as some scholars suggest it was relocated to Delhi from central India, possibly from Udayagiri or another important Gupta-era site. The composition of the pillar is a key focus of study. Made from nearly pure wrought iron, it contains an unusually high phosphorus content and lacks elements like sulfur and magnesium, which are typically found in modern iron. The presence of phosphorus contributes to the formation of a protective passive layer known as missa-white, which prevents moisture and air from causing rust. Ancient Indian ironworkers appear to have mastered a technique of forging large iron structures with properties that modern metallurgy has only recently begun to fully understand. Beyond its technical qualities, the Iron Pillar of Delhi stands as a cultural and historical symbol of India's advanced craftsmanship during the Gupta Empire, often considered a golden age of science, art, and architecture in South Asia. The pillar exemplifies the high level of skill achieved in smelting, forging, and construction. It continues to attract researchers and tourists alike, not only as a testament to ancient engineering, but also as a mystery that challenges our assumptions about pre-modern technological limitations. The pillar remains a silent but powerful witness to a civilization whose metallurgical knowledge was far ahead of its time. Number 20. The Roman Nemi ships. The Roman Nemi ships represent one of the most impressive examples of ancient naval engineering, showcasing a level of technological sophistication that was far ahead of its time. These two enormous vessels were constructed during the reign of Emperor Caligula in the 1st century CE and were discovered at the bottom of Lake Nemi near Rome. Measuring approximately 70 and 73 meters in length, the ships were not built for warfare or transportation, but rather served as luxurious floating palaces, likely used for ceremonial or religious purposes, possibly dedicated to the goddess Diana. What astonishes historians and engineers is the advanced technology integrated into these ships. Excavations in the 1930s revealed that the Nemi ships were equipped with features commonly associated with modern maritime engineering. They included rotating bronze anchors, complex plumbing systems with lead pipes for hot and cold running water, marble flooring, mosaics, and even heated baths. One ship had a sophisticated bilge pump system powered by paddle wheels connected to crankshafts, suggesting the use of mechanical propulsion mechanisms centuries before the industrial era. The construction of the hulls involved a combination of Roman and Greek shipbuilding techniques, including mortise and tenon joints for added strength and stability. The use of iron nails coated with lead to prevent corrosion demonstrates an understanding of long-term preservation and durability. Even more remarkable were the ball bearings used in one of the ship's rotating platforms, an invention typically credited to the Renaissance period, but clearly in use over 1,000 years earlier. The ships were deliberately sunk after Caligula's death, due to reasons that historians are yet to figure out. They remained submerged until Italian engineers recovered them in the early 20th century. Sadly, the vessels were destroyed during World War II, but detailed records and surviving artifacts offer a lasting glimpse into their grandeur. The technology behind the Roman Nemi ships challenges the notion that ancient engineering was primitive. These floating marvels reveal an elite society with access to cutting-edge innovation, skilled labor, and a deep appreciation for comfort, artistry, and mechanics. They stand as a testament to the ingenuity of Roman craftsmanship and the enduring mystery of how such technology emerged so early in human history. Number 19. The Nebra Sky Disk. The Nebra Sky Disk is one of the most enigmatic and groundbreaking artifacts from the Bronze Age, offering compelling evidence that ancient European societies possessed a far more advanced understanding of astronomy than previously believed. Discovered in 1999 near the town of Nebra in Saxony-Anhalt, Germany, the disk is estimated to be around 3,600 years old, dating to approximately 1600 BCE. Made of bronze and inlaid with gold symbols, the disk measures about 30 centimeters in diameter and weighs just over 2 kilograms. It is widely regarded as the oldest known depiction of the cosmos in human history. The disk's surface features a complex arrangement of gold elements that represent celestial bodies. A large circular form is generally interpreted as the sun or a full moon, while a smaller circle likely symbolizes the moon. Scattered across the disc are 32 small gold dots, thought to represent stars, including a distinctive cluster identified as the Pleiades. Two curved gold arcs along the sides of the disc mark an 82-degree angle, corresponding to the span of the sun's movement across the horizon between the solstices at the site of discovery. A third arc, added later at the bottom, may represent a solar bark, a motif associated with sun worship in Bronze Age mythology. What makes the Nebra sky disk extraordinary is that it integrates astronomical knowledge with religious or symbolic meaning, bridging the gap between practical observation and cosmological belief. Studies suggest it was used to synchronize solar and lunar calendars, a necessity for coordinating agriculture, rituals, and societal planning. This indicates that the people of Central Europe during the Bronze Age had not only identified key celestial cycles, but had also devised ways to track and utilize them. The disk challenges the traditional narrative that ancient astronomy was primarily an innovation of Mesopotamia, Egypt, or later classical civilizations. Instead, it suggests that Bronze Age societies in Northern Europe were also engaged in systematic skywatching and calendar development. Today, the Nebra sky disk is housed in the State Museum of Prehistory in Halle, Germany, and it continues to reshape our understanding of prehistoric science, spirituality, and the global roots of astronomy. Number 18. The Magic Mirrors. The magic mirrors of ancient China are among the most fascinating and puzzling technological artifacts from antiquity. Dating back as far as the Han Dynasty, around the 2nd century CE, these bronze mirrors appeared completely ordinary at first glance. Polished to a gleaming finish on the front, they functioned like any conventional mirror. However, their truly astonishing feature became apparent only when sunlight or bright light was reflected off their surface onto a wall. When this was done, an image, often matching the intricate design cast on the back of the mirror, would mysteriously appear in the reflected light, as if projected through the solid bronze itself. This phenomenon baffled observers for centuries and seemed to border on the supernatural. For a long time, it was thought that the mirrors possessed magical or spiritual properties, and they were often used in rituals or as treasured conversation pieces among the elite. But behind this magic lies a highly advanced understanding of optics, metallurgy, and precision engineering that ancient Chinese craftsmen had mastered without access to modern tools. The secret of the magic mirror lies in the manufacturing process. During casting and polishing, artisans subtly manipulated the surface of the mirror, introducing microscopic variations in curvature and thickness that were invisible to the naked eye. These tiny undulations affected how the light bounced off the surface. When light was reflected at the right angle, it diffracted in such a way that it recreated the image engraved on the back of the mirror onto a nearby surface. Modern physicists only began to fully understand and replicate this effect in the 20th century, using interferometry and laser scanning technology. The existence of such mirrors demonstrates that Han Dynasty craftsmen had an intuitive, empirical grasp of complex optical principles. Their ability to achieve this level of precision with basic tools and no formal understanding of physics highlights the depth of experimental knowledge in ancient Chinese material culture. Far from being mere novelties, these mirrors serve as evidence that ancient artisans combined artistic expression with technological mastery in ways that continue to surprise modern science. Number 17. The Olmec rubber balls. The Olmec rubber balls are among the earliest known examples of processed rubber and stand as a testament to the ingenuity of Mesoamerican civilizations. Dating back to as early as 1600 BCE, these balls were produced by the Olmec people, who lived in the tropical lowlands of present-day southern Mexico. The Olmecs are often regarded as the mother culture of Mesoamerica, laying the foundations for later civilizations such as the Maya and Aztec. One of their most fascinating achievements was the ability to create durable, elastic rubber, long before the process was rediscovered in modern times. The balls, often ranging from the size of a grapefruit to over a foot in diameter, were used in the ritual Mesoamerican ball game, a sport with deep religious and political significance. The game, played on large stone courts, involved teams using their hips or other parts of the body to keep the ball in motion, sometimes for ceremonial purposes, other times with high-stakes consequences like determining the outcome of conflicts or human sacrifices. The existence of the rubber ball was essential to the game's unique physical demands, as no other material available at the time would have been suitable. What makes the Olmec rubber technology so advanced is their method of vulcanization. Long before Charles Goodyear officially developed the process in the 19th century. The Olmecs combined latex extracted from the native rubber tree, Castilla elastica, with the juice of the morning glory plant, which contains sulfur compounds. This combination stabilized the rubber and significantly improved its elasticity and durability, allowing it to bounce and withstand repeated impacts. This early chemical innovation shows that the Olmecs possessed a practical knowledge of materials science based on empirical experimentation. Their use of rubber was not limited to balls. Evidence suggests they also produced rubber bands, sandals, and adhesives. The Olmec rubber balls are more than sports equipment. They are enduring symbols of early scientific thinking and innovation. They challenge the idea that complex chemical knowledge only developed in the industrial era and underscore how ancient cultures were often far more technologically capable than traditionally believed. Number 16. The Mayan Astronomical Codices. The Mayan astronomical codices are some of the most remarkable documents from the ancient Americas, offering compelling proof of the Maya civilization's advanced understanding of astronomy, mathematics, and timekeeping. These codices, written in hieroglyphic script on bark paper and folded like accordions, contain detailed tables tracking the movements of celestial bodies with astonishing accuracy. Of the thousands of codices believed to have existed, only 4 are known to have survived the Spanish conquest and colonial purges: the Dresden, Madrid, Paris, and Grolier codices, with the Dresden Codex being the most well-preserved and astronomically significant. Dating from around the 11th to 15th century CE, these codices compile knowledge inherited from centuries of observation and refinement. The Dresden Codex, for example, includes intricate eclipse tables, Venus cycles, lunar phases, and solar year calculations. The Maya were particularly fascinated by Venus, associating its appearances and disappearances with war and important ritual events. Their Venus table spans a 584-day cycle, which is nearly identical to the actual synodic period of the planet, demonstrating their meticulous observation and recording techniques. The Maya also employed a vigesimal or base 20 number system and developed the concept of zero independently, allowing them to perform complex calculations long before such numerical sophistication appeared in Europe. Their long count calendar system could track events over thousands of years, and the codices reflect this deep temporal perspective, blending mythological history with empirical astronomy. What's especially impressive is that these records were created without telescopes or metal instruments. The Maya used sighting tools and horizon markers to track celestial events over generations, refining their calendars and predictions through continuous observation. Their ability to predict solar and lunar eclipses, solstices, and equinoxes made the codices not only scientific tools, but also essential for religious and agricultural planning. The Mayan astronomical codices stand as enduring testaments to intellectual achievement in the pre-Columbian world. They reveal a civilization that viewed the cosmos not just as a spiritual realm, but as a system governed by patterns that could be understood, measured, and predicted. These ancient books challenge modern assumptions about where and how advanced science developed in human history. Number 15. The Byzantine Sundial Calendar. In the heart of the so-called Dark Ages, the Byzantine Empire produced a remarkable instrument that challenges our assumptions about the technological limits of the time. The Byzantine Sundial Calendar, dated to the 6th century CE, is a small but astonishingly advanced device crafted from bronze, integrating both astronomical knowledge and mechanical engineering. What sets it apart is its inclusion of miniature gears, some of the earliest known examples of such technology after the famed Antikythera Mechanism. Roughly the size of a pocket watch, this disc-like artifact could be adjusted for 16 different latitudes, ranging from Constantinople to Alexandria, making it functional across the vast and diverse territories of the Byzantine realm. This was no ordinary sundial. Instead of merely tracking the time of day based on the sun's shadow, the device incorporated mechanical adjustments that allowed the user to align the calendar for different geographic locations. It could indicate the time, date, solar declination, and possibly even lunar phases. The internal gearing, finely crafted and precisely aligned, demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of both astronomy and mechanical motion, centuries ahead of what most people associate with post-Roman Europe. Historians believe this device served multiple purposes, such as timekeeping, calendar regulation, and possibly astrological calculations. It's considered the second oldest geared device ever found, only surpassed in age and complexity by the Antikythera Mechanism. Its portability also makes it one of the earliest known examples of a scientific instrument that could be carried and used across locations, a tool not just for scholars, but perhaps for administrators, travelers, or even merchants. The Byzantine Sundial calendar disproves the notion that intricate technology vanished with the fall of Rome. Instead, it suggests a quieter continuity of innovation. It reveals that the Byzantines not only preserved classical knowledge, but also actively applied it, miniaturized it, and adapted it to their world. This artifact is a small but powerful reminder that intellectual brilliance endured through the so-called Dark Ages, hidden in bronze gears and guided by the sun. Number 14. Roman dodecahedrons. Scattered across Europe, from Britain to Hungary, archaeologists have unearthed over 100 mysterious bronze objects dating to the 2nd and 3rd centuries CE, known today as Roman dodecahedrons. These small, hollow objects are shaped as 12-sided polyhedrons, each face forming a perfect pentagon with a circular hole in the center. The sizes of these holes vary, and the objects often have small knobs at each vertex. Despite being found in a wide array of places such as military camps, farms, and even graves, none have ever been found with accompanying texts or documentation explaining their purpose, leaving their function one of ancient Rome's most enduring enigmas. What makes these objects particularly fascinating is not only their precise geometric design, but also the diversity of theories that have emerged around them. Some suggest they were astronomical instruments, perhaps used to calculate the optimal planting dates based on the sun's angle during different times of the year. Others propose that they served as measuring tools, perhaps for gauging the diameter of cylindrical objects like pipes or projectiles. A compelling theory is that they were used in knitting, possibly to create consistent finger coverings like gloves by wrapping thread around the differently sized holes. There's also speculation about their religious or ceremonial function. Some dodecahedrons have been found in what appear to be sacred spaces or near temple ruins, suggesting a symbolic or spiritual purpose. Another possibility is that they were used in games or as teaching tools to demonstrate geometry, math, or craftsmanship. However, the lack of wear on many examples indicates they may not have been used frequently, which complicates functional theories. What stands out is the high level of precision in their manufacture. The holes are evenly spaced, the faces symmetrically aligned, and the knobs meticulously cast. This indicates not only advanced metalworking skills, but also a cultural emphasis on mathematical symmetry and design. Whether practical, ceremonial, or educational, Roman dodecahedrons reflect a complex understanding of geometry and craftsmanship. Though their true function remains unknown, their widespread presence and sophisticated design suggest that Roman knowledge, and perhaps its mysteries, ran deeper than we often assume. Number 13. The Etruscan dental bridges. Long before the advent of modern dentistry, the Etruscans of central Italy were already practicing sophisticated dental procedures, including the creation of dental bridges. Dating as far back as the 7th century BCE, these ancient artisans used gold bands and human or animal teeth to craft functional and decorative replacements for missing teeth. The skill involved in these early prosthetics is astonishing, considering the rudimentary tools available at the time. Yet, the Etruscans demonstrated a remarkable understanding of oral anatomy and metallurgy, indicating a highly developed culture of medical and cosmetic care. The dental bridges themselves were constructed using gold bands or wires, which were carefully wrapped around the adjacent healthy teeth to anchor the replacement tooth. These false teeth were often taken from other humans or animals and polished before being fastened in place. The bridges could span one or more missing teeth, and were clearly designed not just for function, but also for aesthetics, as having a complete set of teeth was seen as a symbol of status and beauty among the Etruscan elite. What makes these dental bridges even more impressive is the material used. Gold is both malleable and resistant to corrosion, making it an ideal choice for oral applications. The Etruscans' choice of this metal shows not only technological foresight, but also access to valuable resources and a culture that valued physical appearance. Some scholars believe these procedures were reserved for the upper classes, suggesting a form of cosmetic dentistry centuries ahead of its time. The level of craftsmanship required to produce these bridges implies the existence of skilled dental specialists, or at the very least, artisans who worked closely with physicians. These early dental innovations influenced later Roman practices and may have been passed down through Etruscan-Roman cultural exchange. Today, these ancient dental bridges stand as evidence that the Etruscans were far more advanced in medical and technological knowledge than often credited. Their pioneering work in prosthetic dentistry highlights a civilization that merged practicality, beauty, and medical insight in ways that would not be replicated again for over 2 millennia. Number 12. Susong's Astronomical Clock Tower. In the 11th century CE, during the Song dynasty in China, the scholar, engineer, and polymath Susong designed one of the most remarkable mechanical inventions of the medieval world, the astronomical clock tower. Completed around 1094 CE, this massive and intricate device was not merely a timekeeping instrument. It was an advanced astronomical observatory, calendar regulator, and mechanical marvel all in one. Standing approximately 30 feet tall, the tower showcased a level of mechanical sophistication that would not be seen again in the West for several centuries. At the heart of the clock tower was a water-powered escapement mechanism, the first known of its kind in the world. This ingenious system controlled the flow of energy from falling water to drive a series of gears and wheels, ensuring precise, regulated motion. This escapement technology would later become a foundational concept in the development of modern mechanical clocks, but Susong's tower employed it centuries earlier. In addition to the escapement, the tower featured an early chain drive system that transmitted power to various components of the device. The astronomical function of the clock tower was equally impressive. It included a celestial globe that rotated to display the positions of the stars, planets, and major constellations, as well as an armillary sphere that demonstrated the movement of heavenly bodies. The tower also rang bells and struck gongs at precise intervals to mark the passage of time, operated by automated wooden figurines that emerged through doors, an early example of mechanical automation for public display. Susong compiled the knowledge and technical schematics of the clock in a detailed book titled Jin Yi Xiong Far Yao, which means New Design for a Mechanical Armillary Sphere and Celestial Globe. The book has been well preserved and is still studied to this day. Unfortunately, the original clock tower was dismantled and lost during the Jinsong Wars, but the designs live on as a testament to China's extraordinary innovation. Susong's astronomical clock tower represents a pinnacle of medieval engineering and is a powerful reminder that scientific genius thrived far beyond the borders of Europe during the so-called Dark Ages. Number 11. Archimedes' War Machines. When the Roman Republic laid siege to the city of Syracuse in 214 BCE during the Second Punic War, they encountered a genius unlike any they had faced before. Archimedes, the brilliant mathematician, physicist, and engineer of the ancient Greek world. Though best known for his discoveries in mathematics, Archimedes applied his intellect to warfare with astonishing effect, designing a range of defensive machines that would become legendary in both ancient history and modern imagination. These so-called Archimedes war machines delayed the fall of Syracuse for years and left Roman commanders both awestruck and frustrated. Among his most famous innovations was a series of catapults capable of launching heavy stones and projectiles over great distances with extreme precision. These machines were not simple torsion-powered devices. Archimedes adjusted their range and projectile size based on real-time battlefield conditions, a level of tactical flexibility that was far ahead of its time. His understanding of trajectory, tension, and leverage enabled him to design devices that were both efficient and devastating. Another legendary invention attributed to him is the Claw of Archimedes, sometimes described as a crane-like mechanism hidden behind the city walls. When enemy ships approached the harbor, this massive grappling arm would reach over the wall, hook onto a ship, and either capsize it or lift it partially from the water before smashing it back down. Though some ancient accounts may be exaggerated, many historians believe it was based on a real mechanical principle using pulleys and counterweights, technologies Archimedes had mastered. There are also accounts, though debated, of a heat ray involving polished bronze mirrors concentrating sunlight to set Roman ships ablaze. While modern experiments have questioned its battlefield practicality, the very idea suggests how far ahead Archimedes was in considering the physics of light and reflection as potential weapons. Ultimately, Syracuse did fall, and Archimedes was killed despite orders from the Roman general to spare him. Yet the legacy of his war machines endures as evidence of how scientific knowledge could be transformed into military engineering at a level that seemed almost futuristic. Archimedes' designs demonstrate that even in antiquity, the line between scientist and inventor could blur to astonishing effect. Number 10. Al-Jazari's elephant clock. In the early 13th century, during the Islamic Golden Age, an extraordinary engineer named Al-Jazari created one of the most sophisticated and visually striking timekeeping devices of the medieval world, the elephant clock. Far more than a mere mechanism for tracking time, this clock was a brilliant fusion of art, culture, and engineering, representing a confluence of civilizations from across the known world. Each part of the device symbolized a different region: an Indian elephant at the base, a Chinese dragon, an Egyptian phoenix, an Arabian water mechanism, and a Persian carpet, showcasing Al-Jazari's intention to create a universal timepiece that celebrated the diversity of human ingenuity. At the heart of the elephant clock was a complex system of water-driven mechanics. Inside the elephant's body, a hidden water reservoir would slowly fill a floating bowl with a hole in its bottom. After about 30 minutes, the bowl would sink, pulling a system of strings and pulleys. This mechanical motion activated a series of animations. A scribe seated on top of the elephant would rotate, indicating the passage of time, while a bird chirped and a dragon swung around. The entire mechanism would reset automatically, repeating the cycle every half hour. What made Al-Jazari's elephant clock especially advanced was its programmable and modular design. He included adjustable components that could be modified depending on the length of the day or night, essentially an early form of a timekeeping algorithm. His treatise, The Book of Knowledge of Ingenious Mechanical Devices, written in 1206 CE, included detailed diagrams and explanations of over 50 mechanical inventions, including the elephant clock. This work would influence later developments in automation and mechanical design in both the Islamic world and Europe. Al-Jazari's elephant clock wasn't just a marvel of engineering, it was a statement. It combined science with multicultural symbolism, celebrating both the precision of hydraulic technology and the beauty of cultural unity. Its existence proves that nearly 1,000 years ago, engineers were already crafting programmable, animated machines that rivaled the complexity of modern automata. Number 9. The Lycurgus Cup. The Lycurgus Cup is one of the most extraordinary artifacts to survive from ancient Rome, not because of its shape or decoration alone, but because of the advanced technology hidden within its glass. Dating back to the 4th century CE, the cup appears to change color depending on how light strikes it, appearing jade green when lit from the front and glowing a deep, translucent red when lit from behind. This optical trick baffled scientists for decades, until modern analysis revealed that the Romans had unknowingly mastered a form of nanotechnology nearly 1,600 years before its formal discovery. The color-shifting effect of the Lycurgus Cup is the result of tiny particles of gold and silver, ground down to a nanometer scale, being suspended in the glass. When light hits the surface, these nanoparticles interact with it in a process called surface plasmon resonance, scattering and absorbing different wavelengths to produce the dramatic color shift. What's remarkable is that the artisans who made the cup had no understanding of the modern science behind it. Instead, they likely arrived at this technique through empirical experimentation, suggesting a highly advanced level of craftsmanship in ancient Roman glassmaking. In addition to its technological wonder, the cup is also a striking piece of art. It depicts the myth of King Lycurgus, who attacked the god Dionysus and was punished by being entangled in grapevines. A story sculpted in exquisite detail through a technique called diatretum, where a cage-like pattern is carved from a single block of glass. The craftsmanship involved in both the cup's design and its material composition highlights a confluence of artistic sophistication and scientific intuition rarely matched in antiquity. Today, the Lycurgus Cup is housed in the British Museum, where it continues to intrigue historians, material scientists, and artists alike. It stands as a testament to the ingenuity of ancient artisans who, without modern instruments, created an object that still challenges our understanding of material science and demonstrates how the ancients were capable of manipulating matter on an incredibly fine scale. Number 8. The Benin Bronzes. The Benin Bronzes are among the most significant and technically accomplished artworks to emerge from pre-colonial Africa. Created by the Edo people of the Kingdom of Benin, located in present-day Nigeria, These intricately cast brass and bronze plaques, sculptures, and ceremonial pieces date back as far as the 13th century and reached their artistic peak between the 15th and 17th centuries. The bronzes were primarily used to decorate the royal palace in Benin City, chronicling the lives, rituals, military exploits, and hierarchical structures of the Oba, or king, and his court. What sets the Benin bronzes apart is the astonishing level of craftsmanship and the advanced metallurgical techniques used in their creation. The artisans, members of the highly specialized Igan Guild, employed the lost wax casting method, an incredibly sophisticated technique that involves sculpting a model in wax, encasing it in clay, and then melting out the wax to pour molten metal into the cavity. This method allowed for intricate detail, lifelike expressions, and dynamic forms, centuries before similar techniques were perfected in Renaissance Europe. Beyond their technical brilliance, the Benin bronzes serve as historical documents, visually recording over 500 years of dynastic rule and societal evolution. The plaques depict complex court scenes, foreign traders, warriors in ceremonial dress, and divine symbols, offering a rare and vivid glimpse into a civilization with a rich oral tradition but few written records. They also illustrate the kingdom's extensive interactions with other cultures, especially Portuguese and Dutch traders, as reflected in depictions of Europeans and imported goods. Tragically, thousands of these bronzes were looted in 1897 during a British military expedition that destroyed much of Benin City. Many of the artifacts were dispersed to museums and private collections across Europe and North America. In recent years, there has been growing global momentum for their repatriation, with several institutions beginning to return pieces to Nigeria. The Benin bronzes are not only masterpieces of African art, but also powerful symbols of cultural resilience, historical memory, and the ongoing dialogue about restitution and colonial legacy. Their existence challenges outdated narratives about African societies and affirms the continent's legacy of artistic and technological innovation. Number 7. Orichalcum Atlantis Alloy. Orichalcum is a mysterious metal that has fascinated scholars and treasure hunters alike for centuries, largely due to its association with the legendary lost city of Atlantis. The Greek philosopher Plato, in his dialogues Critias and Timaeus, described orichalcum as the second most valuable metal after gold, and noted that it was used to cover the interior walls, pillars, and floors of Atlantis's temples, radiating a fiery glow. For centuries, orichalcum was considered mythical, perhaps symbolic or poetic, until archaeological discoveries began to suggest otherwise. In 2015, a group of divers off the coast of Gela, Sicily, recovered 39 ingots of a previously unknown reddish metal alloy from a 2,600-year-old shipwreck dating back to the 6th century BCE. Laboratory analysis revealed that these ingots were composed primarily of copper, zinc, and small traces of lead, nickel, and iron, essentially a type of brass. This composition closely matches ancient descriptions of orichalcum, leading many experts to speculate that the alloy may indeed have been real and widely used in the ancient world before being lost to time. Unlike pure copper or bronze, this alloy had a distinctive golden reddish sheen, aligning well with Plato's dramatic depiction. Orichalcum was not only described by Plato, but also mentioned by other ancient writers like Hesychius and Pliny the Elder, who suggested it had been known in antiquity but was no longer produced in his time. The discovery of the orichalcum ingots has reignited debates about whether such a metal was a high-value commodity in ancient trade networks or whether it holds a deeper connection to the Atlantis narrative. Its appearance in Mediterranean shipwrecks indicates it may have been exported and prized in elite or ritual contexts. While the Atlantis story remains legendary, the identification of orichalcum as a real alloy offers a rare intersection between myth and material culture. It shows that ancient metallurgy was far more advanced and nuanced than often assumed, and that ancient civilizations may have crafted complex alloys whose recipes and significance are only now being rediscovered through modern science and archaeology. Number 6. The Dead Sea Scrolls. In 1947, a Bedouin shepherd stumbled upon a hidden cave near the Dead Sea, leading to one of the most significant archaeological discoveries of the 20th century, the Dead Sea Scrolls. These ancient manuscripts, found in 11 caves near Qumran, consist of around 1,000 texts dating from the 3rd century BCE to the 1st century CE. They include biblical manuscripts and other religious texts, written mostly in Hebrew, with some in Aramaic and Greek. The scrolls predate any previously known biblical manuscripts by about 1,000 years, providing unprecedented insight into the development of early Judaism and the textual history of the Hebrew Bible. Among the scrolls are fragments from nearly every book of the Old Testament, with the notable exception of the Book of Esther. The texts show a remarkable degree of consistency with later versions of the Bible, but they also reveal variations and previously unknown psalms and prophecies, indicating that the biblical canon was still evolving during this time. Scholars believe the scrolls were written or collected by a Jewish sect known as the Essenes, who lived a monastic life in the Qumran area. Their writings reflect deep concerns with ritual purity, communal living, and apocalyptic expectations, offering valuable context for the religious environment into which both Rabbinic Judaism and early Christianity emerged. The materials used to create the scrolls were equally remarkable. Most were written on parchment made from animal skins, while some were composed on papyrus. They were preserved so well due to the arid climate of the Judean desert and the sealed clay jars in which they were stored. The survival of organic materials for over 2,000 years is a rare phenomenon in archaeology. The Dead Sea Scrolls are more than ancient texts. They are time capsules that preserve a moment of religious and political upheaval. They offer a direct connection to a pivotal era in human spiritual history, shedding light on the diversity of belief, practice, and scripture before the formation of the religious traditions we recognize today. Number 5. The Terracotta Army. In 1974, farmers digging a well in Xi'an, China, made an astonishing discovery that would redefine our understanding of ancient Chinese engineering and imperial ambition: the Terracotta Army of Qin Shi Huang. Buried underground for over 2 millennia, this vast army of life-sized clay soldiers was crafted to guard the tomb of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, who unified the warring states into a single empire in 221 BCE. The army is part of a massive funerary complex that spans nearly 38 square miles, reflecting the scale of the emperor's vision and the technological capabilities of his time. The Terracotta Army consists of over 8,000 soldiers, 670 horses, and 130 chariots, though the full extent of the site is still being excavated. Each figure is unique, with distinct facial features, hairstyles, armor, and expressions, an extraordinary level of detail that suggests the use of real individuals as models. Artisans used modular techniques to construct the bodies and then customize the heads and hands. The figures were originally painted in vivid colors, though much of the pigment faded after exposure to air during excavation. More than just a show of power, the Terracotta Army reveals the military sophistication of the Qin dynasty. The warriors are arranged in battle formation, complete with archers, cavalry, and officers positioned according to strict military hierarchy. Their weapons, once sharp bronze spears, swords, and crossbow bolts, were crafted using advanced metallurgy that helped them resist corrosion for centuries. Beyond the army itself, the entire necropolis includes replicas of palaces, government buildings, stables, and even entertainment halls. These structures reflect a belief in an afterlife where the emperor would continue to rule. Despite decades of research, the central tomb of Qin Shi Huang remains unopened, partly out of respect and partly due to concerns over preserving its contents. Ancient texts suggest that it may contain rivers of mercury and a model of the cosmos, offering even deeper mysteries. The Terracotta Army stands as a monumental testament to ancient China's artistry, engineering, and imperial ideology, revealing a civilization that achieved astonishing feats long before the modern era. Number 4. The Nimrud Lens. In 1850, while excavating the ancient Assyrian city of Nimrud in modern-day Iraq, British archaeologist Austen Henry Layard uncovered a small, polished rock crystal object that would go on to spark intense debate among historians and scientists. Known today as the Nimrud lens or the Layard lens, this 3,000-year-old artifact dates back to around 750 BCE and was found in the palace of the Assyrian king Tiglath-Pileser. Measuring about 4 centimeters in diameter and slightly convex, the lens is made of natural rock crystal and was ground and polished with surprising precision. What makes it so intriguing is the possibility that it may represent one of the earliest examples of optical technology. Scholars have debated the true function of the Nimrud lens for decades. Some believe it was used as a simple magnifying glass, possibly for assisting scribes or artisans with detailed work, such as engraving cuneiform tablets or carving intricate ivory. Others speculate it may have had a role in fire starting, focusing sunlight to ignite kindling. Still more controversially, a few suggest it could have been part of an early optical system, perhaps even aiding in rudimentary telescopic observations, a theory fueled by the advanced astronomical knowledge possessed by the Assyrians. The Assyrians were known for their celestial records and accurate astronomical calculations, including predictions of eclipses and planetary movements. If the Nimrud lens was used to enhance astronomical observation, it would imply that ancient Mesopotamian civilizations experimented with optics far earlier than previously thought. Critics of this theory point out the lack of corroborating lenses or written documentation, but supporters argue that the absence of evidence is not necessarily evidence of absence, especially considering how little survives from antiquity. Though its exact purpose remains a mystery, the craftsmanship of the Nimrud lens is undeniable. Its existence demonstrates that ancient artisans were capable of precision work with materials that required significant skill to shape. Whether used for practical, scientific, or ceremonial reasons, the lens challenges assumptions about the technological limits of early civilizations and raises important questions about how knowledge was developed, applied, and potentially lost through the ages. Number 3. The Phaistos disc. Discovered in 1908 by Italian archaeologist Luigi Pernier in the ruins of the Minoan Palace at Phaistos on the island of Crete, the Phaistos disc remains one of the most enigmatic artifacts of the ancient world. Made from fired clay and dated to around 1700 BCE, this circular disc measures about 15 centimeters in diameter and contains a unique spiral arrangement of 241 symbols stamped into its surface using preformed seals, an approach unlike any other known writing system of the time. The symbols depict a variety of images, including human figures, animals, plants, tools, and geometric shapes, arranged in a clockwise spiral on both sides of the disc. What sets the Phaistos disc apart is not only its undeciphered script, but also the technology used to produce it. Rather than being inscribed by hand like most ancient texts, each symbol on the disc was stamped into the clay while it was still wet. This suggests a form of movable type printing, predating Gutenberg's printing press by over 3 millennia. This innovative technique implies a level of sophistication in manufacturing and communication previously unrecognized in Minoan culture. Despite over a century of study, the language and purpose of the disc remain unknown. Scholars have proposed that it might be a prayer, a calendar, a game, or even a legal document, but no theory has gained universal acceptance. The symbols do not appear to correspond to any known script, including Linear A or Linear B, which were used by the Minoans and Mycenaeans respectively. The lack of additional examples of this writing system only deepens the mystery, leading some to speculate that the disc may represent a unique or isolated instance of experimentation with symbolic communication. The Phaistos disc continues to fascinate archaeologists, linguists, and cryptographers alike, serving as a potent reminder of how much remains unknown about ancient civilizations. Its careful craftsmanship and complex symbology suggest it was not a casual object, but rather something with significant cultural or ceremonial meaning. Whether it represents an early attempt at printing, a ritual artifact, or a message from a lost tongue, the disc stands as a tantalizing puzzle from the distant Bronze Age Mediterranean. Number 2. King Tut's Iron Dagger. Among the many treasures discovered in the tomb of the Egyptian boy king Tutankhamun, one particular object has captured the imagination of scientists and historians alike: a dagger made of iron. What sets this artifact apart is not just its remarkable preservation or exquisite craftsmanship, but the fact that it predates the widespread use of iron by several centuries. At the time of Tutankhamun's reign, around 1330 BCE, iron was extremely rare in Egypt and elsewhere, making the presence of such a weapon in his burial both exceptional and puzzling. For years, scholars debated the origin of the dagger's iron blade. Then, in 2016, a team of researchers used X-ray fluorescence spectrometry to analyze the metal's composition. Their findings confirmed that the blade was made from meteoritic iron, rich in nickel and cobalt, hallmarks of iron derived from meteorites. This discovery revealed that ancient Egyptians had not only recognized and valued this rare material, but also possessed the skill to work it into a fine ceremonial weapon. The dagger is believed to have been crafted with sophisticated techniques, including cold working, which allowed artisans to shape the metal without melting it, an impressive feat for the time. The blade is housed in a gold sheath and features an ornate handle made from rock crystal and decorated with intricate patterns, suggesting that it was a high-status object, possibly gifted to the young pharaoh by a foreign ruler. Its presence in Tutankhamun's tomb speaks volumes about the symbolic power of celestial iron, referred to in ancient texts as iron from the sky. It likely held spiritual significance, perceived as a divine material sent from the heavens. This dagger not only reflects the early use of exotic materials, but also challenges long-held assumptions about the timeline of iron metallurgy in the ancient world. It demonstrates that ancient Egyptians were capable of identifying and utilizing rare resources in meaningful and symbolic ways. King Tut's iron dagger, forged from a fallen star, stands as a dazzling fusion of science, symbolism, and craftsmanship in one of history's most fascinating civilizations. Number 1. Antikythera Mechanism. Discovered in 1901 among the wreckage of a Roman-era shipwreck off the coast of the Greek island Antikythera, the Antikythera Mechanism has baffled and fascinated scholars for over a century. Dating back to around 100 BCE, this corroded lump of bronze gears turned out to be an astonishingly sophisticated mechanical device, often called the world's first analog computer. Long before the rise of modern engineering, ancient Greeks had built a device capable of predicting astronomical positions, eclipses, and even the cycles of athletic games like the ancient Olympics. The mechanism originally housed at least 30 meshing bronze gears inside a wooden casing about the size of a shoebox. When operated by a hand crank, the gears would turn multiple dials and pointers on the front and back of the device, representing the movements of the Sun, Moon, and possibly the 5 known planets at the time: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. One of its most impressive features was its ability to model the irregular orbit of the Moon using a differential gear, a concept not seen again in European engineering until the 16th century. The inscriptions found on the device, partially deciphered through imaging techniques such as 3D tomography, function as an instruction manual, indicating that the Antikythera Mechanism was meant for public use or elite education rather than private mystery. It could forecast solar and lunar eclipses using the Saros cycle and displayed the Metonic cycle, a 19-year period important in the calculation of lunar calendars. What makes the Antikythera Mechanism truly revolutionary is the level of scientific and mechanical understanding it implies. The precision of its gears, some with triangular teeth and tiny spacing, challenges assumptions about what ancient technologies were capable of. It suggests that Greek science had reached a mechanical maturity far beyond what was previously thought, only to be lost and forgotten for over a millennium. The Antikythera Mechanism remains a symbol of ancient ingenuity, a relic not just of craftsmanship, but of astronomical insight and a forgotten tradition of complex mechanical design that would not re-emerge until the dawn of the modern age. And there you have it, 30 extraordinary artifacts that reveal just how breathtakingly advanced our ancient ancestors truly were. From the celestial precision of the Antikythera Mechanism to the meteoric iron of King Tut's dagger, these relics challenge everything we thought we knew about the past. The ancient world wasn't just a time of myths and legends. It was a crucible of innovation that continues to inspire us today. If you're as fascinated by these mysteries as we are, don't miss out on more incredible discoveries. Subscribe to Ancient Odyssey for your next journey into the wonders of history, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an adventure. Let's keep exploring the past together.